All right, if you're in the world of data, you've definitely been in that meeting, right? The one where people are throwing around data warehouse, data lake, and data lakehouse like they're all the same thing. Well, what if I told you they're not just different, they're actually three totally distinct eras of data management? Today, we are going to cut right through all that jargon and figure out what's really going on.
Look, they all store data, that's true, but how they do it, what they store, and who uses them, that's where things get really different. It's a super common point of confusion that can trip up even experienced folks, but don't worry, by the end of this, you're going to have it all straight.
Yeah, you've probably heard all the analogies, right? A warehouse is a neat bottle of filtered water. A lake is, well, a murky lake. We are not doing that today. Instead, we're diving straight into the tech itself, the real stuff, like schema design and data types that actually defines what these systems are all about.
Okay, so let's hop in the time machine and rewind a bit, back to a time before big data was even a thing. Businesses just needed a solid, reliable way to analyze what was going on. And the solution they came up with? The data warehouse. It was built for one thing, bringing order to the growing chaos of business data.
So, what is it really? Think of a data warehouse as like the central command center for a company's most important information. It pulls in clean, verified data from everywhere, sales, marketing, you name it, and organizes it perfectly. This makes it super easy to answer those big picture questions, like, hey, what were our sales trends over the last 5 years?
Now, the secret sauce of a warehouse is a rule called Schema-on-Write. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You have to create a super strict blueprint, the schema, before you write any data into it. It's like a bouncer at an exclusive club. If the data shows up and isn't on the list or doesn't fit the dress code, it gets turned away. Period. That's how you keep everything pristine.
So this is the natural habitat of business analysts. They use SQL to build all those dashboards and reports that executives love. And the data they're working with, it's always highly structured, neat and tidy rows and columns. You've definitely heard of the big players here, Snowflake, BigQuery, and Redshift, all built for super fast analytics.
But then, everything changed. The internet just exploded, and all of a sudden, companies were getting hammered with all this new kind of messy data. We're talking social media posts, images, server logs, you name it. The perfectly organized warehouse with all its strict rules, it just couldn't keep up. They needed a whole new game plan.
Enter the data lake. Its philosophy is actually incredibly simple. Just store everything. Seriously, dump it all in its raw, original format. It's basically a gigantic, low-cost storage bin that can hold anything and everything, without you needing to know what you're going to use it for later.
And the data lake completely flips the warehouse rule on its head. It uses what's called Schema-on-Read. So you just throw all your raw data in first, no questions asked. The structure, the schema, only gets applied way later, at the exact moment you decide to actually read the data. That gives you an insane amount of flexibility.
Now, you can probably guess who absolutely loves this, right? Data scientists. For them, it's like a giant open sandbox. They can use powerful tools like Python and Spark to dig through all this diverse data, searching for hidden patterns to train their machine learning models. And the technology powering this is usually that massive, cheap cloud storage like Amazon S3 or Google Cloud Storage.
So where does that leave us? We've got two powerful systems, the super reliable structured warehouse and the super flexible, kind of chaotic lake. And for a while, companies tried to use both, but this created a brand new, really expensive problem that nobody really saw coming.
What happened was companies ended up with these two parallel data worlds. You had the business intelligence team living in the fast, pricey warehouse, and the data science team playing in the cheap, flexible lake. But the two systems didn't talk to each other. They were totally siloed, which made everything slow, complicated, and costly.
I mean, just picture this. A data scientist in the lake finds some amazing, game-changing insight. To get that into the hands of the business, you had to build these clunky, fragile data pipelines to copy it, clean it, and move it all the way over to the warehouse. It was a nightmare. And worse, you'd often end up with two different versions of the truth.
Clearly, this two-system headache couldn't go on forever. The industry was crying out for a solution. They needed the best of both worlds, the cheap storage and flexibility of a lake, but with the performance and reliability of a warehouse. And that need sparked a pretty brilliant new idea.
And that brings us to the Data Lakehouse. I mean, the name kind of gives it away, right? The goal is to bring all those awesome, high-performance features from the data warehouse and apply them directly on top of the cheap, open-format data sitting in a data lake. One system to rule them all.
And hey, this isn't some sci-fi concept. This is happening right now. It's being pioneered by companies like Databricks, and it's all powered by these incredible open-source technologies like Delta Lake and Apache Iceberg. Put simply, they're like a smart layer you add on top of your raw data files that gives you all the fancy features, like updates and versioning that used to be exclusive to expensive warehouses.
Phew, okay, we've covered a lot of ground. We went from the structured warehouse to the flexible lake, and now to the hybrid lakehouse that's trying to bring it all together. So let's do a final showdown. Let's put them all side by side so you can see the trade-offs crystal clear.
This table really sums it all up. First, let's talk cost. The Lakehouse is really going for that best of both sweet spot. Cheap storage, but with great performance. Now for users, this is a huge deal. The goal is one single platform where business analysts and data scientists can actually work together. And finally, agility. The Lakehouse gives you the freedom to work with any kind of data, just like a lake, but with the high quality and reliability you'd expect from a warehouse.
So it's pretty clear the Lakehouse is the industry's answer to a problem that's been around for a decade. It's the present. But you know how it is with technology. It never, ever stands still. With AI getting more and more powerful, the demands on our data are just going to get crazier. So that leaves us with one really fascinating question. What comes next? What comes after the Lakehouse?